Okay, we are live. Let's just give everyone a couple of minutes. Okay, I think we can get started. Okay, I think everyone should be in. Okay, hello everyone. I'm Jun, and welcome to the Rainmakers webinar titled "The Power of the Power of Small Savings: Pathway to Financial Freedom." Today, we're going to be talking about how even tiny savings can make a big difference in our financial independence. During this webinar, we'll give an introduction to what the Rainmakers platform is, discuss different ways of how to save money, how small changes in our spending habits can add up over time, and utilize this concept as a method to start investing small over time. And we'll also be looking at our current offerings on the Rainmakers platform. So this webinar isn't just about cutting costs. It's about changing our mindset towards money and realizing that small savings can lead to big opportunities. Understanding how this can help us create a future where we feel financially secure and free. So let's get started. And please join me in welcoming Kalfgan, our founder and CEO of the Rainmakers, who will guide us through the world of small savings and how they can change and shape our path to financial freedom. Okay, Kalf, welcome, Kalf. And I shall pass the floor to you. All right, Kelf.
Hi everyone, just 1 second, yeah. Let me share my screen. Hi everyone, just a second. Let me share my screen. All right, Jun, can you see my screen? Just to double check.
Yep, can see your screen.
Cool. All right, first of all, thanks, Jun, for the introductions. And I actually welcome all of you to attend tonight's webinar. So before I get started, let me give a brief introduction. I'm Calv Gan, the founders and CEO of the Rainmakers. And today's topic, like we said, actually going to speak about how small savings can actually change and create wealth. But before I start, let me share with you, let me give a brief introduction. What is the Rainmakers? Well, a lot of actually conventional, as we all know that conventional real estate is actually going through a tough times. And actually property investors is facing a lot of obstacles that are actually hindering them from investing, mainly due to a few market problems. And first of all, will be high entry barriers. A lot of Malaysians actually save up months or years of the savings just to make enough to pay for a down payment. And this is one of the hurdles that they have to go through if they want to build a good real estate portfolio. Secondly, will be illiquidity. So if a property investor invested into wrong locations or wrong property, very likely they'll be stuck. Thirdly, will be stringent banking requirements. So if a bank or a financial institution rejected your loan application, very likely your dream to own the property will be vanished. All right. Lastly, will be tedious acquisition process. If anyone here ever invested into property, I'm sure you've gone through this process before. As the investors, you would need to source for a property. And upon sourcing, you need to meet up the agents. If you decided which one to buy, you need to get the bank loan, meeting up the lawyer to sign all the legal document. If all goes well, eventually you get a key. And upon getting the key, you will need to plan out for your renovations. And lastly, source for your tenants. All these market problems can be resolved with our solutions. The Rainmaker fractional investment platform adapt simplicity, where we make sure that all the investors do not need to take a bank loan or neither forego their lifestyle by paying a monthly bank installments. Besides that, we ensure that our platforms make it accessible for everyone as we lower down the entry barrier to as low as 500 ringgit. As I mentioned, we wanted to remove the tedious processes. We make sure that the investors will be able to invest and complete the entire checkout process in our dashboard within minutes. Lastly, will be security. We mainly ring-fence two major elements here, where the first part will be investor funds. All the funds that the investors invest into us will not go to our bank account. It will actually goes to a trustee where we're actually currently collaborating. And most importantly, to ensure that all the properties are actually legally owned by the investors. Let me give you a brief introduction of what we have done in 2023. So we actually completed two projects. Firstly will be Resort Suite 001, which is a service apartment in Bandar Sunway. And this is the only service apartment in Sunway that connected to Sunway Pyramid Mall, which is a very prime area, a good locations that people comes to KL Selangor, where they're actually definitely a choice for them to come in. As this building aged 20 years, as you can see from this before transformation, it looks pretty rundown and pretty old style. And therefore, when we actually got this property, we intend to make it a modern living conditions. Upon this, after transformation, we managed actually to increase the rental through the short-term stays. And this is actually benefited to most of the investors as they actually get more rental distributions. This will be the second unit we actually get in last year. We got a key somewhere around end of October. End of October. And this is the before transformation. As you look at it, it's really run down. So upon transformation, we actually managed to make it a very modern living conditions for the short-term guests. So what is all about in terms of rental distribution? How we do it is basically we lease all this property into our OTA. And we don't do the job, we engage our property manager to do the job, to list up all this property into this OTA, which is Agoda, Traveloka, Booking.com, and Ctrip. So as you can see, upon finishing all this property, the daily rental actually increased to 388 ringgit per night during the peak season. So as you compare to the before renovating, they're probably selling at 200 to 250 ringgit per night. So this is one of the reasons why that we as the property owner, we have to make sure that the property condition have to be always tip top so that they actually maximize all this rental return for the investors. And let me share with you how we did it so far. In December 2023, for Resort Suite 001, we actually distributed 3,232 ringgit to the investors. And this sums up to be 6.18% as return, which is pretty good returns as it's compared to a normal situation. And for Resort Suite 002, we actually distributed 3,718 ringgit to the investors, which comes to 7.11%. As you all know that, as I understand, majority of the property investors in the market, I would say 80%, is actually losing money instead of getting a good return. All this because they actually have to pay for the monthly bank installment, and instead of making money, in fact, they're losing out money. So that's the reason why in the Rainmakers platforms, we do not leverage on the bank or the financial institution, we leverage on the people. So today's topic, we're actually going to talk about small saving strategy. So a lot of people puzzle of small saving strategies as how can we practice small savings? Or comes to questions where how can we use small savings as a stepping stone to small investments? All these questions comes in the mind and got blocked and actually not too sure what to do next. And that's the reason why we are here today to share with you how should you get started and how should you imply these habits so that you can actually grow your small savings into a better wealth as over the time period of time. In order for you to start these good habits, first of all, you need to establish a savings mindset. Not to forget setting up a realistic goal. What do you want to be or how do you want to hit it? Secondly, control your budgeting effectively. And most importantly, is to cut off all the unnecessary expenses so that you know that how much funds can you allocate and how much funds can you actually set aside. Once you have this in mind and in place, basically what you need to do next, it will be leveraging on technology for financial successes. Please bear in mind that there's a lot of investment scheme out there, and please do your own research before you step into an investment. As I say, I always make sure that our security is our top priority as we ring fence our investors fund as well as our property are actually legally held by the investors. So once you have this dedicated savings account, you can actually put aside all this money that you want to save so that you can actually have these habits in place. And once you have this habit in place, next thing you will learn about it will be the power, harnessing the power of compounding. As if you refer back to my previous video, you can actually note that small savings over time can actually lead to a significant wealth growth. And I put up an example saying that if you save up 500 ringgit every month at a ratio of 5 to 6%, you will actually significantly grow your wealth to 170,000 over 20 years. And this is actually a very, very healthy scenario where everybody can start right away. As you get a salary or you get your income, just put aside a small savings aside, just put a small funds aside, so that you could actually grow your money over time. And in order to achieve this, first of all, you need to have a patience and consistency in doing this habit. Well, this is how the Rainmaker comes to the picture, where we ensure that small savings role in fractional real estate. Consistently accumulate your funds as we go and diversify your investment across different properties so that you will not put all your eggs into one basket. In any moment that a property investment goes wrong, like the area runs down or subsequently the rental rate drops significantly, you do not have to worry as you diversify into more properties. And this is very crucial if you really want to achieve financial freedom and not to lock yourself into just one property or maybe just two properties, all right? And as I mentioned at the start of this webinar, invest without sacrificing your lifestyle. This is happening in the market right now, where majority of the people actually get a bank loan and oblige themselves and forego their lifestyle by setting aside a fixed amount to pay for the monthly bank installment. And this is why we do not want these things to happen to our investors, and we want them to actually enjoy the present while securing their futures. Always make informed choices if you actually want to achieve financial freedoms. And how fractional real estate benefits you? We consistently give you a potential passive income over time. All right. And in order to achieve a long-term wealth growth, we want you to ensure that you will be actually benefited in terms of the property appreciation, as well as consistent rental income. This is almost very important for people to achieve what they wanted over the period of time. Yep. So this is what we're actually offering right now, which is the Oak Suite. So Oak Suite actually located in Kiara 163, Mont Kiara. And if you're actually very familiar with the area, this is a very lively mall in Mont Kiara, and this is the only mall that actually have what do you call that, GSC, or cinema in that area. So what we do here is we apply different method, different strategy for this area, mostly because the demographic and actually the location is slightly different compared to the Sunway properties. So this current offering unit will be 10 ringgit for 87,960 units. Overall, we're actually raising 879,600 ringgit. And what the best thing is, this property is actually 13.6% below market value. So as the investors, you'll be always eyeing for a below market value deal. And for this prime area, it's actually very rare for you to get a below market value property. So this might be a good chance for you to grow your wealth and to steadily collect and diversify your investment across different properties so that you will be benefited over the small savings. Okay, I think this is a short presentation. I just want to share with you what we think about small savings and how small savings can actually influence your wealth growth over time. So I'm actually open for this Q&A sessions. If any one of you have questions, please feel free to let us know, and you can actually type it out in our chat sessions. Then we actually could answer your questions.
Okay. Kelv, actually, someone asked, how do you handle property management and maintenance for the properties in your portfolio?
Okay, we as a platform, we don't handle in terms of property management. We actually appoint property manager to manage our property, which is our investors' property. So what we do here is in every areas, there will be a strong or reputable property manager. We will actually talk to them and we will actually hand over our property to them. So we actually evaluate or do analysis of that property manager to make sure that they are really good in handling the property before we actually appoint them.
Okay. Okay, we have another one. What are the risks associated with investing in fractional real estate, and how do we deal with it?
All right. In terms of fractional real estate is pretty low risk as you compare to buying a property by leveraging on the bank. First of all, you only investing a fraction of what you have and buying a fraction of a property. So we actually do a process of evaluating beforehand. We actually brings up the property into our platform, into our marketplace. And what we do here is we analyze the property the locations, which is the demographic of the tenant market. And we also check out in terms of all the OTA, which is all Agoda, Booking.com, and all these things, to make sure that it really brings in good revenue before we actually buy the property. So we actually go through a very thorough, detailed process before we list it up into our platform. So we make sure that this property really benefits to the investors.
Okay, another question. How does the rainmakers, how the rainmakers will help with my savings?
Okay. In terms of how do we help in savings, as I mentioned to you that we're actually giving out quarterly distributions in terms of rental. And how we do it is we collect all the rentals from the investors, from the properties. And then from the rentals, we distribute after deducting all this in terms of expenses, we will then distribute this rental back to the investors on the quarterly basis. And this is the reason why that it gives you a passive income. It gives you a passive income for you to grow and to reinvest it to actually enable the compounding effect.
And another one here. How do you ensure I will receive my return from the property?
Oh, okay. All this monitoring can be actually done through our dashboard. If you actually browse through our www.therainmakers.com.my, and then you click in login, if you have an account, register an account with us, you will be able to monitor and assess all your investment in terms of portfolio and stuff like that. So from that property distribution, you will be able to withdraw from our dashboard. And in terms of reinvesting or in terms of looking into what we have, there's a marketplace in our dashboard where you'll be able to browse through and understand all our selections, our inventories, and as well as we prepare a detailed prospectus where we input all the details in the prospectus so that you could have a full understanding before you invest into the property.
Okay, here, can you elaborate on any exit strategies for investors looking to liquidate their investment?
Oh, sure. At this moment, as I always tell all my investors, property investment is not a short-term game. All right. What we are doing here, the Rainmaker, is to enhance and to give a value over a small investors, and they can actually diversify the portfolio. So in terms of exit strategy, what we are doing here is we have a voting right systems where all the investors will be able to vote through what they wanted to in terms of if let's say they do not want quarterly distribution, they want to make it monthly distribution. All these things can be done through voting. And in terms of exit strategies, what they can do is if all of them think that this property comes to a good price to sell, they just need to inform us as a platform. We will actually do a voting system for them, voting rights for them. If 80% of them voted yes, please sell off the property, we will then execute the actions and sell off the property to the market. So this is how we do it. And just to let you know a bit of our pipeline over our future pipeline, where we're actually going to develop which is a secondary market. But this is actually still very early stage. So just let you know that we're actually working out something in terms of exit for all the investors. Any other questions?
Yeah, another one here. Can the investors have a say in the management or decision-making process for the properties they've invested in?
Jun, sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Oh yeah, so can the investors have a say in the management or decision-making process for properties they've invested in?
Oh, yes. So like I said, all this property, once the investor invested into the property, they will have a say in terms of voting rights. So like, changing the distribution period instead of quarterly, they will make it biannually or they will make it annually. All these things can be done through voting. By default, it will be quarterly. All right. If they want to check out in terms of expenditure, or they want to approve, let's say there's a major repairs of the property, we will then seek for voting systems where let's say we'll be actually asking all these investors whether are they okay to approve such repair. For example, cost you 5,000 to fix these things, or we will actually then seek the approval, or even though, like I mentioned just now, to change or to exit, which is to sell the property. All these decisions will be actually decided by the investors, not us. So as overall, as I mentioned, the Rainmakers serve as a platform we don't act in terms of decision on behalf. We only execute the actions once the investors decided or instructed us to do so.
Okay, thank you. And are there any additional fees or expenses investors should be aware before initially investing?
No, there's no hidden fees. So what we do here is like I mentioned, in our dashboard, we actually prepared a detailed prospectus where we list down how much are we buying for this property, all right? And then we actually incorporated a few charges in, which is a sinking fund, which is what we call as a cash reserve, to actually help out. Property investment is a long-term game. So, and once we purchase property, there might have a repairs, there might have some things happen, on the property that needs some funds. So all this we park under cash reserve. And in terms of property price to purchase, and then we also set aside a renovation price, where we will actually renovate this property at what price. All right. The fourth thing will be all the stamp duty, all the legal documents that we have to pay for the property when we purchase the property. Lastly will be our fees. And all these things are fully detailed, fully listed down in our prospectus, so that the investors will be able to go through and understand before they invest in. So, and one more thing there is, once the investors give us, let's say, X amount, we will not ask for any more money from the investors, because all these funds are already factored in, and we already raised sufficiently for our cash reserve to run the property. So do not rest assured that you would not have to top up your investment. You just need to think about what next for you to invest in.
Okay, any more questions?
There's a few Q&A, I think, Jun, you can read out.
Oh, okay, no, there's one. Do you only offer Airbnb property for now?
Not really. Like I mentioned, the Oak Suite in Okera, that will be actually for long-term stays. So not like I mentioned, like I shared just now, different properties serve different purpose. All right, and we can't offer short-term stays for all properties. Therefore, before we comes into the property in certain areas, we actually done our research whether what's best suits for this property. For example, this is for long-term stay. We will still go with long-term stay. And let's say we go for let's say Bandar Sunway, which is resort suites. It's more suitable for short-term stays. All right. So that's the reason why we will go for this direction. And going forward in the future, we might actually put in commercial shop lots and stuff like that. So it really depends where we actually comes in, and what's the best strategy that we could actually apply for this investment.
I don't see any more new questions coming in.
All right, feel free to ask, guys. So that you all have a better understanding regarding the rainmakers, or even regarding any property questions that you have, so that I could answer, I could give you a solutions. And what I'm trying to say is Fractional is very new, and we are the pioneer in the local market right now. So yep, stay tuned with us, and we'll have more announcements, and we'll have more excitements to share to you all.
Yeah, Kelv, I think I don't see any more questions, so I think we can wrap it up here.
Cool.
Okay, I'll just yeah. Any last words, Kelv?
Nope, that's all. So thanks guys for spending your precious time with us. And I hope that you actually have a takeaway. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop us an email in our website that you can see, or you may also call our office number. So I look forward to see you all. And if you have any questions or you want to visit our office, feel free to do so. So yep, by now I think that's all. And then thanks for the time.
Okay, thank you, Kelv. I shall reclaim posts.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you everyone for joining today. And as promised, for those who joined and you guys joined because we were offering a 50 ringgit rebate on your next investment as well, be assured we will credit that into your account as long as your email address is exactly the same as the email address you registered on our dashboard. So once again, everyone, thank you for joining and happy Chinese New Year to all those who are celebrating. All right, thank you. See you guys next time.